Hi everybody. Today I'm going to do a tutorial. I made these cute little pockets, I guess you would call them, with postcards. Just stuck some postcards back here and tied with the twine. And on the back it's flat. And they're made out of lunch bags. You can use any size of lunch bag you want. I've got this one this is actually the giant size that they sell at Walmart. And then these are the regular size that you can get anywhere, just the regular size um, lunch bag. And I printed out some little postcards that I found. I think these are from, yeah, these flower ones are from the Digital Collage Club. Let me move this out of the way. And I just backed them with some coffee dyed paper and then sewed around. And you can put anything in these pockets that you want. You can decorate them any kind of way. I just thought they were really cute with this tie because it's a tie. I mean, it's legit. You could untie this one. You can't remove that. And, you know, if you wanted to put something thicker in there, you could. Or once it's tied, you can also, yep, once it's tied, let's try that again. You can also just like slide things in underneath. You know, whatever it might be. So I just thought they were cute, mainly because they were flat on the back, so you could glue it into a journal. But you don't have to. They could be free floating. You could use it as Happy Mail. And Happy Mail, you want it to be flat, and you could just untie this when you put it in the envelope, and it'll stay nice and flat. And then when whoever you're sending it to gets it, they can just retie it. So that's the smaller one. And then the bigger one, it's exactly the same. It's just I put this little dangle on here that I made. They're really easy to make, but it's the same type of thing. It's flat on the back, but you've got the tie on the front, and you've got the two pockets here. This one and then this one back here. So this is what we're going to make today. So let me get rid of this. And let's see. We'll start with, let's see, this is it's a pretty, the one thing I will say about this project is if you like things to be completely straight and have exact measurements, this might not, paper bags they're never straight. They're never exact, but you can get them pretty close. And also they're kind of grungy. So, and it's a junk journal, so it works out okay. So I'm now here's the giant one that I was telling you about. And here's the smaller one. Let me see how the measurements on these. The giant one is 12 and a quarter by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 6. And then the standard size lunch bag is 11 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a quarter, approximately. So regular, giant. I don't know if they're giant, but they are a bit bigger. So we're going to go with the smaller one first. So it's really simple. But also kind of you would think that you want to fold it this way, but no, you want to turn it. Find the pattern on the bottom, and you want to fold it up so you can see this pattern. So you see, just got to kind of get it as straight as you can, as close as you can to the bottom there. It's not, like I say, it's a lunch bag. It's not scrapbook paper. Use your bone folder and get a good fold on that. Now, let me get my prototype back over here. Take all the cards out. Okay, so as you can see, this is way taller. So we're going to need to cut this down, and there's no exact measurement. You can cut it down however you want. Let me get my trimmer in here. I think this one was about a 1/2 inch. But you again, you can make it any size you want. So let's see here. We put this in here, and how much do I want sticking up? We'll do about 1 inch on this one. You just cut it right off. Again, it's a lunch bag, so it's nothing that's going to be expensive, and you probably have a couple, in your kitchen anyway. Now, what you could do, which I'm not going to do, but you could flip this over, take the part that you cut off, and put it on the back, and then you would have 2 more pockets. But I'm not doing that today, so we'll just set that to the side. So this really is it. I mean, it's just it. What I did is I printed out some more of these smaller little postcards. You don't have to use a postcard. I just thought it was cute. You could stamp on it. You could paint. You could, put something else. Do whatever you want. But I'm going to trim one of these off real quick. And like I say, I got these. I just printed these on my favorite kind of paper. It's Nina. It's printer paper. It's not cardstock, but it's much thicker. I think it's well, I'll have to look up the weight of it, and I'll put a link to it in the description. But I just absolutely love it. It's got a very fine texture that you almost can't see. But anyway, it's a sturdy printer paper. But you can use any kind you want. You can use scrapbook paper. You can use regular copy paper, whatever. So let me get this cut out here. I'll just pick just this first one here. It doesn't have to be all crazy with trying to decide which one I want. I've made so many that get this around here the right way, that it doesn't matter if this isn't the one that I wanted. I can always just pick another one, because I'm going to end up making them all. So trim this off down here. Okay, there we go. Get that over here out of the way. Now take this, and we need to ink it up. We also need to ink the paper bag. Now for the paper bag, I like to use ground espresso distress ink or oxide. I have the oxide because it's shows up really good on the paper bags. And you just want to ink, if you want to ink, just ink, wherever it's around the edges, obviously, and where it's going to be seen. So like all in here, we don't need to ink that, and we don't need to ink this in here, but we do need to ink this edge right here. And I like mine kind of grungy, so that works out perfect. And then since I'm just probably possibility going to have it free floating, I'm going to go ahead and ink the back. Worst case scenario, I change my mind and glue it down. It's not the end of the world. It's just some ink. Okay, that looks pretty good. We also want to ink the postcard. I generally don't use the ground espresso because it is pretty dark. But since I'm going with more of a grungy type of feel with this, we'll go ahead and ink this on up. We'll just use the same ink. Whatever's left down there will be just fine. And what makes this so cute is once you lay this on here, you're going to cover up this straight, funky looking part. And it looks like an envelope in the back behind it. I just think it's darling. I just love it. So, got this. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue this down. You can use whatever kind of glue you want. I've got some art glitter here in my little piece together glue bottle. Got like tips from some glue bottles and the lid from another one and some weird dangle that I made out of necessity, really, because I didn't have anything. So it's got a piece of chain and a couple bulb pins and this tired looking, worn out, oh, what is it called? Anyway, pin, eye pin. So it works, but it's not the prettiest. But hey, you want to talk about not pretty? Check out my bone folder. It's got so much glue and ink on it, and that's just how my hands look almost all the time. See, I got glue right there. By the time I'm done, I mean, you'll think I've been playing in the dirt. But anyway, so we got that glue down there, covered up that little funky middle part, but you can still see the sides. Now, on the larger one, grab it, I used this jute twine. It's kind of big, and I didn't realize that it was, thick and sturdy, maybe a little too much, until I went to try to put it on the smaller one. So what I got instead, and you can use whatever you want. You could use ribbon, whatever. I had some 100% cotton cooking twine in my kitchen. So I took a piece. Here's an extra piece that I had from earlier. And it's white, but no problem. You just take your ink pad and your dauber or whatever, whatever kind you use, and you just put it in between like that, and you just pull it through. And now it's brown. So how easy was that? It's pretty easy. Okay, so get this out of the way. So we need, I forgot my tape. Let me grab my tape real quick. Okay, all right, I'm back with the tape. You could use any tape. This tape that I have is really sticky. This is what I use when I'm making my journals and I'm using a hardcover book binding, that sort of thing. I use this tape. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. It's nothing special, but it is really sticky, really sticky. So that's why I'm using it for this. So you need to cut a piece of string. Again, it depends on the size of your paper bag. But what you want to do is you want to have it so it goes back here, right? A good way down. Doesn't have to be all the way, but you want it so it'll have a good hold. And then you're going to lift this up and you're going to tape it under here. So, I don't know. For a standard size lunch bag, you're looking at about 7¼ inches. So, that's what I came up with. It's not exact. You just want to make sure that you have enough to grab behind this little flap here. So let me tear off a piece of this. And we'll stick this on here, about like this. And as usual, I tore too much tape, but no problem. This tape tear is really easy too, especially, it's just kind of weird because it's so sticky. Okay, so we've got that sticking out. And then you bring it down, get it as straight as you can. And you lift this up. All right, let me tear my tape off. I've got it wedged under there for now. Let's try a little smaller piece. I don't need half the dang tape roll. Okay. Now I've got it coming around here, making sure it's straight, and don't pull it too tight because you don't want it to bend that down. But you want it, taut to where it's not all floppy. And you just stick your tape down here. And I'm going to trim this extra off because there's no need to get all bulky. We don't need to. Story my life. Okay. So, oh, see, I did it. I pulled it too tight, and now it's bringing that down. But that's okay. I'll just loosen it up a little bit, hopefully. This tape is pretty sticky. I mean, okay, there we go. Let's loosen that up a little bit. Maybe when you pull it down, just hold that with your thumb there or something so you don't pull it too tight like I just did. All right, now I just have to readjust my tape. Which you're not going to see any of this, so it doesn't matter. Not one bit. Let's check it again. Much better. Okay. So now you've got the string on there. You've got it taped back here. And you've got it taped underneath this little flap. Now we're going to glue this little flap down. This bottom flap, because we don't need that open anymore. So just, gluey, gluey. That'll be just fine. And then, make sure it's pressed down good so it doesn't come open. And see how it's not lined up there? It doesn't matter. I think that looks cool with it not lined up, which works out great because it's really hard to get these lined up. They're never straight. Okay, so we've got that. Now, we have to get our piece that goes across the top. I didn't cut those strings off. Oh well. So let me get my twine here and find the end of it. Okay. And it's still white, so I have to color it still. But let's see how much we're going to need. We can just put it around the back for now. It's fine. And we're going to want to go ahead and tie our bow. Just so we know how long to make the twine that we're going to cut off. And I can already tell that I'm going to need more. Okay. That looks good. I mean, make sure you give yourself a little extra. You can always trim it later. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it there. That ought to be good. So now untie it because I don't have the brown twine, so I have to make my own. And usually one pull through is enough, but like if you see that it's only on just one side, which mine did pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead and just do it again. All right, that's good. Take something new and make it look old. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to fold this down and put our twine in the middle of that. And that's how you don't see it on the back because it's not on the back. It's behind this in the pocket. So you get it, put it back there, get your ends. I don't know. I like to even mine up so, a little bit. So I don't have like 6 inches over here and 2 inches on the other side. And you tie your bow. Again, making sure you don't pull it too tight on the sides because you don't want it to make the edges curl up. And get these loops adjusted because those are way too big. Pull them tight. And you get them how you want them. That looks pretty decent. I'm going to wait to trim them off until I'm done. So I'm going to fold this open again. And yes, you guessed it, another piece of tape. Now, if you think that your tape is not going to be sticky enough, you can put some glue on your tape. I'm not going to because this tape is insanely sticky. But you could just put some glue on your tape. And you want to have a long enough piece. It doesn't have to be the entire width. But you want a long enough piece that it really grips it good. And make sure that it's stuck down because you don't want anything when you're sticking your things inside the pocket like this, you don't want it to catch on the tape. So just make sure you've got it burnished down nice. You can use your bone folder, fingernail, whatever. That's fine. It's going nowhere. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim these off. You can trim them off, however long or short you want them. That looks good. The bow, not so much. But anyway, hopefully you're better at making bows than I am. It's all good. So you've got that done, and that's basically it. Now, what you can do, I'm going to sew mine. I'm going to sew right here, and I'm going to sew right here. You don't have to sew it. You can glue it. You just want to make sure that you use really sturdy glue. This is, like I say, art glitter that I have here. I would probably go, art glitter would be fine. You just really want to make sure that you let it dry good. So I would, clip it or put a paper clip or something here while it's drying, just to make sure that, that it gets a good adhesion. But it'll be fine. But I'm going to, like I say, I'm going to sew mine. Now for this part, it's open, and that's great. You know what? Let me just go ahead and glue this for now so I can work with it better to show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll go back and sew it later. Okay, now this part, so now we've got our little pocket right here. This pocket, I didn't leave mine with the gusset working. I glued my gusset. I suppose you could leave it if you wanted to put a lot of stuff in it, but I had this thing packed. I had like 6 or 7 little postcards in here, and I had plenty of room. So what I did is I glued mine down. So how I did it is I glued the inside of this back part of the gusset on both sides. You don't need a ton of glue. You just want it so it stays down. Okay. And then, so see now, well, if you let the glue dry, it's actually a better demonstration. But when my glue is dry, it's going to be like that. Now, what I also want to do is glue the gusset on the outside. And you want to make sure and get it to the edge on your glue. And I'm sure there's going to be some, of course. And now it begins. All I need is some ink, and I'm all set. There we go. Do I ever have a napkin or anything? No, I don't. So let me glue this side. Maybe not quite so close to the edge, since I know that I usually put too much glue and it's going to come squirting out the sides. Well, maybe I pushed too hard. I don't know. Anyway, you got to do what you got to do. Okay, so now when you open this pocket, it's just a regular pocket. It's not all gap and open. I didn't want it gap and open. Most times that's what you want a paper bag for, but I didn't want that. So that's basically it. But the other thing that I did is I wanted to reinforce the edges of the bag right here. I wanted to use newspaper, but I don't have any. I thought I had some. I thought, oh my gosh, I found some. So it was in a box up really high. I couldn't reach it. I made my husband get it down. I'm like, yes, I can see through that box. I see there's newspaper in there. It turns out it was newspaper from my sons when they were playing baseball when they were younger. So couldn't use the newspaper. So I got this just scrap, kind of newspapery looking like. Oh, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it in half. It doesn't have to be crazy straight. I mean, I mean, look, the grungier the better, right? And just, fold it in half. That seriously, that it could be straighter than that. I mean, come on. I'm not going to get out my scoreboard and all that stuff. And what I did is I just put it right on top of this and glued it on there. But of course, I'm going to measure it first. So let's see. Put it down here on this end. And of course, I don't have. Oh, it's right on that line. No way. Perfect. All right. I don't even have to use the trimmer for that. I can just use these little scissors here. Okay. That'll work. Put that over there. And never ending scraps. And I'm going to ink this up. Ink. And ink the back. And this is a little bright. So, I mean, I want it to be grungy looking. I don't want it to be all prim and proper. Sometimes I do, but not today. Not feeling it today. Okay. So I take this and I just slide it on the back and the front, and I glue it on there. But look, that's upside down. That's upside down. Check it. Now it's not. So, you see what I mean? Okay, it's not the sides don't match, but it doesn't matter. If it matters to you that they match right there, then be a little more straighter when you fold it. But it's fine for me. So I'm going to put some glue on both sides of the flap, but not in the middle, as I just put it in the middle. And this, get that off there. Just makes it easier for our next step. So, put your glue, but don't put it in the crease. And then stick it on there. Make sure you've got your top up there in the crease. And get it lined up a little bit better than I did on the edge. You probably be easier to put this on and then trim it off in case, you did like I did and got a little bit short on one side. It's fine. It's a paper bag. So I need to see if I need to put some more glue on there since I lifted it up. Let's see. Yeah, let me put a little bit more in there. This is why I love junk journaling, because there's rarely, unless you just cut something crazy, like it needs to be 6 inches and you cut it 1.5 inches. Okay, yeah, I don't know how you're going to fix that. But most things, you can go with the flow, you can fix it like this, come on. It's fine. And that's fine in there, in the back. Okay, good, cool. Let me put this pin back in my glue for once. Now, I've got these really sharp scissors. And what you could do is you could just cut a strip, a very thin strip off of here. But I'm going to do it like this, which is why I didn't put the glue in the crease. Get it over here and just get it started. Then I can just use my scissor, carefully, of course, because these are really sharp. Get around that gusset that's in there. Even though I glued it, it's still in there. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're not catching the gusset. And just saw. Like a little saw. Oh, no. You know what? That happened to me before on the other one. So you know what I did? I'm going to show you right now. Again, this is why I love junk journals, right? Okay, let's make sure. Okay, I don't want to close that. I don't want to glue it shut. So here's what we're going to do. we're just going to cut a tiny little sliver off to open that back up, okay? And then I'll fix it because I really want to make sure that I don't glue my pocket shut. Okay. Now, all right, now let me fix this real quick. Again, it's no problem because we're junk journaling here, right? Okay. You let that dry for a minute. But as you can see, now we've opened up the pocket. But it's more sturdy up here. Now what you can also do, and I've got to glue that, but I don't have to glue it because I'm going to sew, and when I sew, I'm going to sew all the way up there. So it's going to reinforce that. But yes, if you're just gluing, you definitely want to glue the corners better than that. But I'm not going to because then I've got to wait for it to dry before I can run it through my machine. What you could also do, though, instead of doing it in the single piece, is you could make 2 pieces and fold them in half and then put one on this side and one on this side. But I think that's fine for what I'm using it for. I don't need it any more reinforced than that. So, yeah, I guess my advice would be after you put your piece of paper on there, just cut a little sliver off to open it back up so you don't have to deal with this mess. But look, you can't even tell. You can't even tell. I'm awesome. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go just run a stitch up this way and run a seam up this way. And it'll be done, and then we can put our little postcards in there. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right. Nope. Forgot to put the pen in my ink. Anyway, I ran the stitch down here and down this side. Trim this off. And the only other thing I did is I re-inked up here because I cut that little strip off. So let's see. Let's get our other little postcards. I just took these out of the other one. Stick in our pockets. Stick some back here. I want the flowers to show. With the stitching on there, kind of hard to slide in and out sometimes. There we go. So, this is the other one I made, the prototype. This is the one that I just made. And then this is the bigger one. I'm not going to make one of these today because this video is already long enough. But it's the same thing, only a different size bag. They make even smaller bags that you can get. I know they sell them on Amazon. I have some, but I couldn't find them. And you can make even smaller ones. So I hope you try these out. If you do, let me know. Tag me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, obviously. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. I'm sure, you can do all kinds of different embellishments and everything, but quick and easy, inexpensive, and I thought they were really cute. So see you all later. Bye.